Remember, my excellent drivers, you are responsible for the safe use of your vehicle and abiding by the state or territory rules that you are driving in, and that, of course, includes mobile phone usage.
Welcome to the Learn to Drive podcast. I'm your host, Liz Lafferty, and I'm here to guide you through the twists and turns of learning to drive with a few laughs along the way. So whether you're a newbie trying to figure out why the car keeps beeping at you, or a seasoned road warrior who still can't parallel park without causing a minor traffic jam, I've got you covered. So buckle up, check those mirrors, and let's hit the road to becoming a more confident and happier driver. Hello and welcome to The Art of Confident Driving. I'm your host, Liz Lafferty. I hope you're all doing really well today. And we're going to be talking about even more road rules that you guys may not be aware of. And I'd like to start with seatbelts because I don't know about you guys, but it seems that every other week in my Facebook feed, there's somebody in the community complaining about a fine that they've received in the mail for not wearing a seatbelt correctly. So let's talk about that. All right, guys, so seatbelts, look, most of us have grown up with them. A lot of the older generation haven't. And, maybe that could be some of the reason why they're not as comfortable wearing them. But certainly anybody under the age of 50, we should all know how to wear a seatbelt correctly because we grew up with it. So let me just go through why we should wear it. Because if we're not wearing a seatbelt during a crash, it's just not good. I mean, it seems obvious, but if you are wearing a seatbelt during a crash, it is the most effective way to prevent occupants from being tossed around inside the vehicle, or worse still, ejected from it, or even colliding into each other. Now, to provide maximum protection, the seatbelt must be worn correctly, okay? Because misuse or not wearing it correctly can really lead to some serious injuries, okay? So let's talk about the best way of wearing the seatbelt. And truthfully, it's required. So we're after low, flat, and firm. Low is the position the lap belt is across your hips to secure your body's weight effectively. So it literally should be across your hips, not across your belly, okay? Flat, there can't be any twists or folds in it, okay? So it cannot be twisted, either the top part or the bottom part. They've got to be lovely and flat so that if you are involved in a crash, it won't cut into you, which is what would happen with a twist, or at least potentially. And firm. A lot of people like it loosey-goosey. Guys, that is not going to help you in a crash, is it? So please have it nice and firm. And if at any time you feel it's not firm, readjust it. Give it a little tug, get it nice and firm, and then you'll be good to go. Okay, remember, it's not just about the rules, it is physics. Right? If your car crashes, you don't float around like Spider-Man. You fly forward with the force of a charging rhino. So you need something to control that force, don't you? And that's what the seatbelt does. It will save your life. Now, it's not just there to annoy you either. It is the backstage pass to surviving a crash, okay? So please wear your seatbelt, but wear it correctly. So remember, when you're wearing your seatbelt, it really is important to have it fitted correctly. You can't be wearing it underneath your shoulder. So I see a lot of people on the social medias, putting up pictures of the belt is literally under their shoulder. That's not going to help you in a crash, is it? So it must be over your shoulder to keep you secure to the seat, which again will keep you safe. You can't be holding that sash away from your chest. My lovely mother, she was always beautifully dressed and would iron her clothing so beautifully, and she would hold the seatbelt away from her so it wouldn't crush her beautiful clothing. But again, as I explained to her, that's not going to help if there was a crash. So I eventually bought her a seatbelt cover, sheepskin seatbelt cover, which stopped a lot of that problem, and she was much happier to be able to use the seatbelt correctly. So there's always ways and means around little problems. We've just got to find them. And again, you can't have it anywhere where it's not going to save you. So if it's too high up on your belly, now I've been pregnant with a seatbelt, I still managed to have it underneath the baby and across my hips. So yeah, pregnant ladies, we don't have it above the bump, we have it below. So yeah, if that's a thought, then that's covered. The other thing, of course, is that the seatbelt can't be damaged or worn or frayed because, again, it may not perform properly in a crash. So on the chance that your vehicle has been involved in some sort of crash, it wouldn't hurt to get an expert to have a quick look at that seatbelt to make sure it's still in good nick and will save you on the day. And remember, as the driver, you are responsible for everybody in the vehicle, and that includes them wearing their seatbelts. So, again, don't just jump in the car and drive. Please make sure that all of your occupants are wearing their seatbelts correctly. As the old advertising slogan said back in, I think it was the 80s, click, clack, front and back. So please make sure everybody is secure before you take off. All right, folks, let's talk about tinted windows. So I live on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. There is lots and lots of strong sun, so I definitely have my windows tinted. It's to not only protect my car, but also my skin. So, hey guys, definitely remember your sunscreen. That the windows don't stop the sun from coming through, so damage can still be done. So yes, protect yourself as well as your car. But I've seen lately an awful lot of cars have extremely darkened windows. Now, it doesn't matter about the rear windows, so the rear passenger windows. Most state laws will say that you can have quite dark, which would actually be your 20%. I know it sounds like not a lot. 20%, 15, or even 10%. Please check out your state rules. Most of them are about the 20% mark, and that's for the rear passenger windows. But for the front passenger windows, where the driver and the front passenger are sitting, for the front side windows, the visual light transmittance, VLT is what it's called, must be a minimum of 35%. Now, you're probably going, what does all that mean? It's the amount of light that is coming in through the window. So in other words, can people around you see? So this is the thing I'm finding very interesting, is that a lot of work vehicles are starting to get these extremely dark tinted windows. Now, apart from the fact that's against the law, guys, you are breaking the road rules and you can get fined for that. But more importantly, all you guys who are putting that dark tinting on, I really would like you to answer this question. Are other drivers acting strange around you? I'll bet they are. You know why? Because they can no longer see you as the driver. You're sitting behind a very dark tinted window. Nobody can see you and what you're doing. And that's what a lot of drivers and road users rely on, right? We need to see your face to see what you are doing. So if you're behind an overly dark tinted window, people around you are not going to know what to do because we don't know what you're doing. You're not telling us by using your face and eye contact. Okay, so that's why it's important to not have overly dark tinted windows. So for those of you out there who do have them, A, be aware you're breaking the road rules, but B, why don't you go back and reconsider changing it to the correct tint, which the darkest is 35%. So, or even a slightly lighter one, you'll still get the benefits of the UV and the tinting. It's just other drivers and road users will be able to see you. So again, you can have the 35% at the front side windows. You can't have anything on the front windscreen, guys, nothing at all, okay? There can be a slight strip along the very top, but that's all, okay? It certainly can't be anywhere where the windscreen wipers are, okay? And the rear windscreen, that can also be a darker one, although again, I wouldn't recommend it. I often look through the rear windscreen to see if the driver in front of me is looking in their mirror so I can see, are they aware of me? And I'm unable to do that with an overly dark tinted window. I'll also comment that L and P plates are very hard to see inside a dark tinted window. So again, road rules do state it must be visible from a certain distance. Please check your state. But yeah, it's another reason not to have overly dark tinted windows. I know they kind of look cool, but in practicality, they're not good. Okay, and that's why it's against the road rules. All right, since we're on the subject of passengers and seating, let's have a chat about that. So there are still people I see in the passenger seat with their legs up on the dashboard. Guys, goodness. Look, I get it, especially if you're on a long trip. You want to stretch those muscles. I get it. I do. I'm fairly certain I did it when I was a teenager, and that was silly, and my dad immediately reprimanded me for that. So, but here's a thought. Why don't we just pull over, get out and walk around? But look, even on short trips, it's still utterly illegal, okay? You're not allowed to have your feet up on the dashboard. I've recently seen a few photos of an x-ray of people who've been in a crash when their legs were up there, and believe me, it is not pretty to look at. There's hips that are blown apart and, oh, yuck, no thank you. So, as tempting as it is, you want to look cool, you want to stretch the legs, whatever the reason. You can't do it, okay? You're meant to sit in that seat correctly. And again, the seatbelt wouldn't be worn correctly if your legs are, above your chest. So again, that would have ridden up. So yeah, please, don't be tempted to stretch those legs. Just keep them where they are. If you really do need to stretch your legs, then ask the driver to pull over and you can get out and have a little walk around, okay? Look, everything I've spoken about today is, as always, to do with safety, your safety, everybody else's safety. Let's all do the right thing. Let's know our road rules. And please, I really would recommend go checking out your state or territory road rules. They're bound to have just a little cute refresher. It'll take you 5 minutes and then you'll feel better going, I now know. And look, if there's something in that little refresher that you're not certain of, hey, you can always call them. But remember, when you do look up road rules, please use the state or territory government website. Please don't rely on a driving school website or a lawyer website because they're doing their version of it. You need the correct version of it, which is, of course, the government. They're the ones who make the rules, okay? So please rely on the government website rather than too many others. I do my research, but even I always check it out and make sure that I'm in the correct state. I'm, doing the rules for the state that I'm in. So I do highly recommend that. All right, my friends, please stay safe. Be happy on the roads, take your time, don't rush, and enjoy the drive. I'll catch you next time. And my full driving lessons are available on Apple Podcasts and the artofconfidentdriving.com website, where you will get access to instructional videos. Remember to relax and enjoy the drive. See you next time.